Picture this. Two tires sit on the same rack, 10 feet apart. They came off the same production line, in the same factory, made from the same rubber compound by the same engineers. One has a price tag of $95. The other says $190. Same tire. Double the money. And the only reason you'd pay the higher number is because of what's printed on the sidewall. That's not a hypothetical. That's the tire aisle in basically every shop in America right now. Today I'm breaking down 8 tire brands that look like off-brand junk but are actually built, or fully owned, by the same companies charging you a premium logo tax. Stick around, because at the end I'll give you the 4 things printed right on the sidewall that tell you in 15 seconds whether a cheap tire is a steal or a mistake. Brand number 1. Uniroyal. Let's start with the one that sounds like it belongs in a museum. Uniroyal. The name feels like a leftover from the disco era, so most people scroll right past it. Here's what they're missing. Uniroyal in North America has been wholly owned by Michelin since 1990. Not licensed. Not inspired by. Owned. Built in Michelin-run plants, under Michelin quality control, sold at a fraction of the Michelin price because the company needs a value brand that doesn't dilute its flagship name. Look at the Uniroyal Tiger Paw line. It carries a tread warranty that rivals tires costing twice as much, and in independent wet braking tests it consistently lands within a few feet of tires wearing the Michelin Man on the box. You're buying Michelin's wet weather engineering without paying for Michelin's marketing budget. Brand number 2. Nexen. Next up, a brand people write off as a no-name Korean budget tire. Big mistake. Nexen has been manufacturing tires since the 1940s, and here's the part that should stop you in your tracks. Nexen is an approved original equipment supplier for Porsche, Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. Porsche put Nexen rubber on factory Macangs and Cayennes. Porsche's engineers do not gamble the handling reputation of a 6-figure SUV on a tire that can't perform. So when a brand clears that bar and still sells for noticeably less than the German names it shares a parking lot with, that's not a coincidence. That's a company competing purely on price because the performance case is already proven. The 4-point Sidewall Check. Before we go further, here's the promise I made. 4 things to check on any sidewall before you let a salesman steer you toward the expensive logo. 1. The treadwear number. It's a plain number molded into the rubber. Around 300 is average longevity. Anything pushing 500 or higher means serious mileage. Drop down near 200 and you're looking at a tire that'll be bald sooner than you'd like. 2. The load and speed rating, the letters and numbers right after the tire size. That load number has to match or exceed the rating on the sticker inside your driver's door. If it doesn't, you didn't save money, you created a safety problem. 3. Who actually owns the brand? A budget name backed by Michelin, Continental, Goodyear, or Hankook usually means real engineering riding on a smaller price tag. A brand with no traceable parent company at all is the one that deserves more scrutiny. 4. The DOT date code, 4 digits stamped near the size, showing the week and year of manufacture. A tire sitting in a warehouse for 3 years has already started aging before it ever touches your driveway, even if it's never been driven. Run any cheap tire through those 4 checks, and the gap between it and the premium version next to it usually stops looking like a gap in quality and starts looking like a gap in advertising spend. Brand number 3. Laufenn. Brand 3 has a name most Americans can't even pronounce, which is exactly why it gets ignored. Laufenn is the budget arm of Hankook, the world's 7th largest tire maker and a factory supplier to BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. Hankook launched Laufenn specifically to run the same playbook Toyota ran with Lexus, except backward. Instead of building a luxury brand on top, they built a value brand underneath, using the same factories and a meaningful slice of the same engineering. Shoppers who'd never buy a tire with a Korean name they can't read are routinely driving on Hankook-grade rubber without realizing it, for a price that can run well over $100 less per set. Brand number 4. Kumho. Kumho has a reputation problem, and it's mostly self-inflicted by the automakers, not Kumho. Car makers often spec a stripped-down, cost-cut version of a Kumho tire for factory fitment, and that version is what gave the brand its cheap reputation. But the Kumho tires sold at retail are a different animal entirely. Founded in 1960, now one of the 10 largest tire makers on the planet, Kumho supplies original equipment to BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. In recent European performance testing, Kumho's summer lineup has placed ahead of tires costing significantly more. That's not a fluke, that's a company that quietly does the engineering and skips the premium ad campaign. Brand number 5. General Tire. General Tire sounds like a filler name, the tire equivalent of a store brand cereal. In reality, it's owned by Continental, the German engineering giant. Born in Akron, Ohio in 1915, General became Continental's value tier in the late 1980s after Continental bought it outright. What that means in practice is simple. Compounds and tread technology that debut in Continental's flagship lines eventually trickle down into General once the expensive R&D has already been paid for. You end up buying Continental-level engineering wearing a name most people assume is generic. Brand number 6. Cooper. This is the brand your dad or grandfather swore by, and it's exactly the one younger drivers overlook. Cooper Tire built a century-long reputation in Akron starting in 1914 by making honest, durable tires at fair prices. In 2021, Goodyear paid roughly $2.5 billion to acquire Cooper outright, and then made the smart move of keeping it running as its own value brand instead of erasing it. The result is Goodyear-level manufacturing scale hiding behind a price point that still feels like the independent brand it used to be. Compare a Goodyear Assurance to its closest Cooper equivalent, and you'll typically find Cooper running 15 to 25% cheaper for comparable performance. Brand number 7. Sailun. The honest exception. Now, I have to be straight with you on this one, because the whole point of this list is telling you the truth, not just the flattering parts. Sailun is the one brand here that isn't secretly backed by a Michelin or a Continental. It's a genuinely independent Chinese tire maker, a little over 2 decades old, and that shorter track record is real. Some owners report certain models getting noisier or wearing faster toward the end of their life. But here's the other side of that coin. Sailun has poured 2 decades of investment into its own compounds and testing, and it prices its tires at a fraction of premium brands while consistently outperforming the low expectations people walk in with. If you'd rather replace a budget-priced tire a little sooner than hand over premium money for a name, Sailun is a calculated trade-off, not a gamble. Bonus brand number 8. Toyo. One bonus, because leaving this one off would be dishonest. Toyo gets filed under cheap by most American drivers, and that completely misses the point. Toyo has built tires in Japan since 1945 and has earned its reputation through motorsport, not marketing. Its performance line runs in real competitive racing, and its all-terrain lineup has become a default choice for truck and SUV owners who actually tow and go off-road. Toyo isn't riding on a parent company's name, it's an independent brand competing purely on engineering, often priced well under comparable all-terrain tires from bigger names, with warranty coverage that holds up to genuinely hard use. So here's the real takeaway. The tire aisle isn't full of cheap tires and expensive tires. It's full of the same handful of companies selling the same engineering at different price points, counting on the badge to do the convincing. Next time you're standing in that aisle, skip the logo, check the treadwear number, the load rating, the parent company, and the date code, and let the sidewall do the talking instead of the salesman. If this saved you from overpaying, hit subscribe, because next week I'm doing the same breakdown for motor oil, and that one's even more eye-opening.